Hey, I don't know what happened, but we're back. I can hear you.
Screen time, and it
Okay.
went off. Then it came back, but the sound wasn't there, so I had to go just turned off that setting. My bad. Uh,
No, it's cool. My phone tripped too. So we just gonna jump right
yeah,
back on in. It's all
yeah.
good.
So
Yes.
long story short, yeah, I'm pursuing that fusion like you were talking about.
Beautiful. And like you said, you had to adapt to learning how to cook where you went. I know up north food is totally different and
Totally
it's just
different.
a culture shock, you know. So
Yeah,
yes, yes, I
yeah,
definitely know what you're talking about.
yeah.
So we gotta move along to the next question.
Hmm.
There are literally thousands of diets out there. Some are for losing weight, gaining weight, lowering cholesterol, living a
Hmm.
long and healthy life, and
Yeah,
many other reasons. So,
right.
according to experts in 2017, the nine most popular diets are the Atkins diet, the Zone diet, the keto diet,
Hmm.
vegetarian, vegan, Weight Watchers, South Beach, raw food, and a Mediterranean diet. That's just
Yeah,
according to the experts in 2017.
yeah.
Not referring to the list, just in general. With your experience as a health advocate, what diet do you consider to be the healthiest?
Gotcha. Perfect. Great question. So usually, I never answer that question directly
Mm-hmm.
because so for each diet, my example that I always use is, for example, vegan. So a vegan or vegetarian, you can be either of those diets and not be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to stress a lifestyle change more than it is just something you're eating or something you're taking on to like lose weight, this, that, and the third. And there's a lot of with each of those diets, I'm sure there's a right and a wrong way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, More than anything, there's a way of eating that I really, really uh, like to live by, and it's just a couple methods by one of my favorite authors, Michael Pollan. So he says, eat food, and he defines what food is. So that's things that grow from the earth, even animal protein. Um, it says not too much, so that's portion size, and mostly vegetables. So if you follow those three rules for me, having a portion size that's small, majority of that portion being vegetables, and making sure it's food and not processed food or food products, then for the most part, as far as health goes, if you're trying to eat healthy, that is the way to go. Some of those diets have a lot of those characteristics, so they work, and you see different people get different results for all of them. And
Mm-hmm.
look, trust me, people, everybody's body is different. Everybody um, can talk about their experience. That's just what I found for mine. Mm.
Makes sense. And yet, like you said, everybody is different. Like what
Yeah,
works for one
yeah,
person may not work for the next person.
yeah.
And that just
Depending
comes with
on people
anything.
disorder. Yeah, there's some
Yes,
people who have
definitely.
diabetes and different that's they can't do what I do, or
Mm-hmm.
different age also plays a part. There's a lot of different
Mm-hmm.
variables. Hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, a healthy lifestyle has become a goal for more and more people. Like you said, it's becoming a trend, you know. So,
Yeah.
the importance of a well rounded diet, exercise,
Hmm.
and getting enough sleep can have positive impacts on our physical and mental health. With health awareness on the rise, it's
Hmm.
important to be aware of what can actually make you healthier and what can potentially be harmful. So let's talk about like the stereotypes of eating healthy from your experience. Also, when it comes to like having to be a vegan, not having to be, but being a
Yeah.
vegan or a vegetarian
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
losing too much weight.
Yeah. Uh, Man, I feel like the list could go on forever. The first one is just, people talk about it being too expensive. People talk about it not tasting good.
Mm-hmm.
People talking about yeah, not losing too much weight, um, not wanting to eat the same thing. The funny thing is, when people say they don't want to eat the same thing, if I ask them what they eat, they're like, it's complicated. I kind of just like to eat this, this, and this, and they kind of eating the same thing already. The diet is
Mm-hmm.
pretty small. So I start off with it being too expensive. For me, that I've never found that to really be true because I think a huge part of being healthy is just being able to cook your own food. Like
Mm-hmm.
cooking your food allows you to control what goes into it. Um, it also it gives you that just gives you that control. So when you cook your own food, you know you're usually gonna save money because produce, meats may be the most expensive thing you get, but it's usually it's a worth it buy. So like produce, for
Mm-hmm.
example, vegetables, potatoes, those things are between $2 a pound, $3 a pound at the most.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm usually on average I'm spending $300 a month on
Mm-hmm.
food, whereas somebody who's spending $15 a day for each meal, that adds up.
Right.
So it's definitely not too expensive. Um, as far as taste goes, we're in New Orleans. We have nothing but spices. If there's anywhere you could cook and make it taste good, it's here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and there's little things you can do. I think a lot of times there's a lot of misconceptions. You know what I'm saying? They think, man, I can't use salt. Sometimes it's like, yeah, you can use salt, but you can use less,
Mm-hmm.
or it's the type of salt that you're using that has different flavor, or the different spices that you're using, or even the way you cook it. You know, a lot of times people come across and they're like, I don't like broccoli. It's like, well, when's the last time you had it and how did you have it? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You might have had a bad experience with your grandma who cooked broccoli and it was mush. Nobody likes mush broccoli. You know, some people do. I'm not judging, but for the most part, you know, there's a middle ground. You like it, not too crunchy, but not too soft. Some people
Right.
like it crunchy too. But it's about how it's prepared. You can have potato salad, for example, from a family member, and you love it, and then somebody else say they got potato salad, and you like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like how
Yes.
you prepare it is very important. So I found when I was doing the food, a lot of times people would come to me and say, I don't eat this, I don't eat that, but I say, all right, let me prepare it for you, and then we'll see. Or they say I don't like tomatoes. I'll be like, tomato is just in the wrap that you had.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about being creative and having fun with it as well, and that'll add that flavor to it. So that's another misconception. Um, I don't know. Do you know of any
My main
misconceptions that you? Well,
my
come on.
main thing, like you said, was it's too expensive.
Yeah.
But I would go to, let's just say, Burger King and spend
Hmm.
$30 between
Oh
me and my
yeah.
husband.
Oh
But
yeah.
I would say buying this bag of salad and whatever is too
Yeah.
expensive. It's all
Yeah.
about that's so I definitely am guilty of that. I am definitely.
Right. Right.
And
And I
I
think
also
yeah.
go ahead.
Nah. Go ahead.
I
I
also
was.
get bored with food,
Mm, mm,
not knowing how to actually, like you said, I might prepare it a certain way and then not like it, and then you'll prepare it. It's the same ingredients, same everything, but it's just made a different way. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, 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 yeah. Somebody said butter. I need butter. Look, look. So I'll tell you, me getting to the point where I am in my health journey, I use Buddy for a heavy portion of that transition period. And because now I like to think of it like this, think of it like a bank account. So I tell people like I can go out and eat, and in a sense splurge. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can get something that I don't eat. So there's certain things that you can eat that may not be the healthiest if you eat it every day.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're eating good every day, then you could afford that every so often. So you gotta kind of like I like to see it as money because money is something we most people don't play with. So
Right.
for me, yeah. So for me, it's like butter. When I first got butter, and firstly, it's about taking steps. You don't have to. Don't just cut off butter. Look, use a better butter. Use a better quality butter. So margarine, get rid of that. That's terrible. I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
100% honest. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat. Margarine is bad. If you get something and you look in the ingredients area and it says sweet cream, that's when you're using real butter. And then I will also go for organic butter. So organic butter, and I know we get into that topic will come up, but what they don't have is all those hormones and added stuff in it. And you can get unsalted butter because salt you don't need no butter does not need salt. Let's get that straight. Butter is good by itself. But unsalt, like when they add salt into, salt is added to so many things already.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I'm saying? When I can see the salt and actually sprinkle it on that, I'm good with that because I actually know. But when it's already infused in there, it's easy to overdo it because you don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing butter, make sure it's real butter. Try to do organic if you can, and do unsalted butter. And just try to use less. Don't overdo it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But that does help if you made some broccoli, which you don't probably eat on a regular basis, and you put a little butter on there. It's about curbing your taste buds. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Because when I
definitely.
first started, that's what I was doing. If I changed and went to a healthier bread, I scrape some butter on there, just
Mm-hmm.
so that I can eat that. And it's better than doing your regular bread. So make those little steps. You ain't got to get rid of your butter. Trust me. Just do a better quality butter.
Yes.
Do
So
a
wait,
better,
you
and then
did.
eventually you might be able to make some other transitions. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
So slowly, step by step. But you did say
Yeah,
something about
yeah,
organic. So let's
hmm
jump into the discussion about organic versus inorganic.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
conventional growers are use pesticides to protect their crops from insects. And just for the record, pesticides is substance used for destroying insects or organisms to cultivated plants or to animals. So it's just you know. So
hmm
as where organic growers instead go a more natural way when it comes to fertilizing and or controlling weeds and insects. Could you please explain to us more about organic and inorganic? Because I'm not really, we a lot of people may not know the difference or the benefits of inorganic versus organic.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, and I just, again, I'm gonna tell you what I know. Of course, you have other people who really, really specialize in this stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
there's one thing we didn't touch on. So the conventional versus organic in the context in which you talked about it was just vegetables. When we
Mm-hmm.
went over into butter, that gets into animal products. For me, it's more important when we're talking about organic in relationship to animal products. And I'll tell you why. But for the most part, conventional things, like you said, they're using for plants, they're using those herbicides to kill off weeds, pesticides for the bugs, fertilizers, and some of which are like really, really harmful. Um, but with some things, so here's the trick to it, because this way it can get expensive. You have a market, so you have your business. You know how it goes. One of the way people lose them most of their money or get taken advantage of in this food game and trends with all these different names and terminology is consumer ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much stuff out there that it's like this too much. I'm about to just go ahead and do what I know. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to organic and conventional, I'm gonna tell y'all the God honest truth. When I first started off, I was not doing everything organic. And you can
Mm-hmm.
and when I first started off, that's when I got my relief. That's when I got my sinuses was not as bad. So there's a lot of things you can do before you get to the point of organic and non-organic. Now with vegetables, for things that have a thicker skin on them, this is a rule of thumb, a simple rule of thumb, like avocados, watermelon, bananas. It's not as important to get organic versions of
Mm-hmm.
those because the pesticides and herbicides and everything that's being thrown around it isn't necessarily getting to the part that you go eat as much.
Mm-hmm.
Now things within the skin like zucchini and all that, you probably want to skin those or get them organic if you can. Um, Other leafy greens, you will want to get organic versions of those. Now, also beware, they organic is a stamp. That doesn't necessarily mean. So when they say organic, that means 95% of the ingredients and things that went into it has that organic standard. So even just to get that stamp, that's 95. That means they still got 5% of that stuff that is unaccounted for
Mm-hmm.
that can be not organic ingredients. So keep that in mind. And some things that are local may not may be organic, truly organic, but may not have that stamp.
Mm-hmm.
So always ask questions when you go to the store. And truth be told, local a lot of times is usually better because they don't have to ship it and travel. All that type of stuff. When things get shipped, you have fuels from the cars and all this type of stuff that get on the vegetables, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So a lot of times, and you also have to pay for that stamp. So it's like going through a process when you get your business and you got to get registered. That's
Mm-hmm.
money, and a lot of times, sometimes business don't have money to get all those, qualifications. A lot of these farmers, the way the wave is going right now, you have these big companies that's buying out everything. So the small time farmers who are doing it the organic way, they don't have the money to buy those stamps. So you
Mm-hmm.
may still have some good quality organic stuff, but it may not just have that stamp. So look at the details. Look for things that have that thick outer layer shell, like that orange. You know what I'm saying? Even though it might not be organic. Uh, okay, where do I shop at? Even though it might not be organic, you can still eat it and it still can do you well. But when it comes to meats, this is where I think it's the most important. So this is what I'm talking about. If you're doing your fish, if you're doing your beef, your lamb, your chicken, your eggs, your butter, you, I much rather you get that organic because there's multiple problems that's going on with the meat industry. Not only are they treating these animals terribly, but
Mm-hmm.
and let me not just sound like a philosophical or somebody very emotional about these animals. I really care about them, but also if you think about what happens when you go through trauma, your body releases a whole bunch of cortisol, which is toxic once it's released in the body. If
Mm-hmm.
you are constantly stressed, you're gonna have too much cortisol in your body, and which will cause sickness. So these animals are constantly under that stress, and they constantly have that in their system, and you
Mm-hmm.
eat that if you're getting that. But organic ones, they're usually a little bit happier. They treat
So
it better.
so
That's
wait,
part of the standards they're going there. Go ahead.
this is just me not knowing because this is very
hmm
informative to me.
hmm
How? Okay, I'm. Let me not sound
No, no,
ignorant,
no,
but
no. Come on, man. Just say it like it's on your mind.
how do you get in organic and inorganic meat? Like, what's the
Okay, so
if it's the
and
same animal?
I can segue right. So it's a standard. It's just a stamp. It's just a
Okay.
stamp. Organic USDA organic is just a stamp, and this is where I'm gonna get into where you could get it from.
Mm.
Organic is just a stamp that stands for a certain standard, and that's why I say watch out for it because I didn't see organic on honey, and I'm like, how you get organic honey? I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, how you tell bees to go to the organic flower? That's a scam. They just bought the stamp, and because they know that people just go buy it. But when it
Mm.
comes to the meat, what you want to make sure you pay attention to more than just organic, you want to make sure is they didn't use antibiotics on them, that they were grass fed for thing. Well, not chickens. Chickens don't eat grass, but
Mm-hmm.
for your grass eating herbivores and animals that graze, you want to make sure they're grass fed. Chickens, you want to make sure free range is usually, but they play with words. There's a lot of different things, but main thing is those antibiotics. You don't want to have those antibiotics in there. You don't want to have those but other chemicals
So
that they inject them with.
when we go, let's just say we go to the store to grab some meat.
hmm
Is all
hmm
of this listed on the meat? Because honestly, when I go to the
Yeah,
store, I go look at the meat that's the cheapest price. They might have one for
exactly.
$5.69 and one for $5.79. I'm gonna get the five
hmm
sixty nine one because it's cheaper. So,
Yeah.
what do I need to start looking for when I'm picking my
So
meats?
So the honestly, and this is what I don't like to tell people to run to Whole Foods because a lot of people swear to God that Whole Foods just has everything healthy. Whole Foods, like any grocery store, majority of grocery stores are made up of food products, processed food. So that's your cookies, your chips, everything that they took from the original thing that came out the ground and then made something else from it. But and usually those things are unhealthy. So Whole Foods has things that are unhealthy. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to their meats and their fishes, I will not lie to you, they have great quality and they can tell you and usually answer your questions. And if they
Mm-hmm.
can't, they can find somebody who can. And they have it labeled as well. So usually when it comes to fish and things like that, at least in Louisiana, you're in Texas, so you may have like what other type of stores you have? You have Publix, right? Do
Kroger,
y'all have that? You
Aldi,
have Kroger's,
Aldi.
HEB.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so these stores usually I find that Louisiana has the worst. This
Mm-hmm.
is just for me to be honest, but so you can probably go to your grocery store. It's easier for vegetables when it comes to your meats. Just ask those questions. Don't take.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, don't take any shortcuts when it comes to your meats, because this is a complex organism. This is a mammal that has blood and bacteria. It has a lot more life uh, forms that were in it. You don't want to play around with those. Vegetables, you can
Mm-hmm.
slip up and get a conventional, you know, see another day. But when it comes to your meat, you do not want to play with your meat. Look at those labels. Um, I ain't gonna say go for the one that is the more expensive, but usually it kind of is so.
Mm-hmm.
Farmers markets are a great thing. Try to get in a routine. The good thing about meats are you can freeze them, and freezing
Mm-hmm.
things doesn't lower the quality of it. Like that's
Okay.
one thing I looked into. It even frozen vegetables, they still have their nutritional value. But the good thing about meats are if you want to go and say, look, I'm gonna go spend this right now, so that I don't have to cut. Because if you have to go out of your way to go get your meats at a certain quality, you might as well just do that trip as least as possible. You know,
Uh-huh.
he's like, all right, I'm gonna do
Right.
this trip once a month, but I'm gonna stack up and then bring that home, put that in the fridge, freeze it, and it's on lock. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You season it up, put it up in the fridge, but you don't want, especially you having a kid, people have their kids, but for yourself as well. You know, you don't want to play around with your meats. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it usually should be labeled. Watch out for stuff that say all natural, because all natural doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it's like on water advertisement they say spring water, but everything got spring water on it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything says spring water. So look, don't just don't just grab the first thing and say all natural, or really question things. Like I said, they might have grass fed on some chicken you get, and you like grass fed chickens don't they don't eat grass, like
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Or they might have vegetarian fed. That mean that them chickens eating corn. Chickens don't naturally eat corn,
Mm.
and corn is one of the most genetically modified or even pesticide rich plants that we have out here nowadays, and it's in almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to look for ones that, like I said, don't they're not treated with those antibiotics, and usually are free range. That's the best way you could go.
So I'm definitely
Um,
going read labels, because I promise I don't read labels. So
Please
read those
relabels.
labels.
Please
Okay.
relabels. When it comes to what you put in your body, please. You kind of, and like I said, it's the ignorance. This is the consumer ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you cannot uh get something that says it wasn't treated with those antibiotics and all of those other standards, try to get the one that looked the best. Don't
Mm-hmm.
just go up in there and grab the lowest price. You know what I'm saying? Get
Right.
home, clean that thing off. You know what I'm saying? All those little things matter. You know, I know everybody don't have access to everything. You might literally not be able to pay for that. Look, go for seafood versus
Mm-hmm.
beef. Go for a leaner meat. Go for that turkey. You know, there's always something you could do. You ain't gotta say, "Oh, I can't do that. I'm just gonna grab this."
Uh-huh.
Nah,
There's
Go for
always a
something better. Try to go for the fresher foods, right?
mm-hmm.
So don't go and grab that frozen catfish that's from China. Try to find some catfish or trout or salmon. Preferably salmon is. I ain't gonna lie, salmon is very nutrient dense. Um, that's from your city or that's local. Frozen seafood isn't bad. Because for a long time when I was on frozen salmon, uh, I just made sure it was wild caught. Uh, and I just portioned that. That was good. I will just
Mm-hmm.
say, try to know where it's coming from. Like catfish is one of those things. I don't like getting anything from China. I'm just gonna be real.
Mm-hmm.
Their regulations on things are just not the same as we have over here. And that's a long ways away.
To travel.
I don't even like thinking about getting something from over there.
Mm-hmm.
Salmon, if you get salmon, it's probably the best fish you could do, and it's usually a little bit more affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Frozen shrimp, shrimp are great. I like shrimp. You know what I'm saying? They're not like frozen shrimp. So I'm in New Orleans. You know, in New Orleans, frozen shrimp, it's like why, so it's a funny one for me, because I never get frozen shrimp,
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, things that are frozen really, they don't lose nutritional value. Just try to make sure it ain't from China and make sure it don't look sketch, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you go do it and you got the little extra penny, get one that look real good that may, advertise the fact that it well was caught, and that might even cost a little more. Go ahead. But yeah, nah, it ain't bad because it's frozen.
I definitely, I'm my biggest thing I didn't learn just now was to read the labels. I never read.
Please,
I'm gonna
please
read
read
these
those.
labels.
Please read those labels and make smarter decisions. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So,
Yeah.
we're gonna move on to the next question.
Come on.
I have unknowingly, literally struggled with maintaining a healthy lifestyle since about ninth grade. So, to describe
Hmm.
what I mean, I would literally cold turkey cut everything that I believed to be bad out. Um, and I would start eating what I believed was healthy, like salad. This was my diet, literally salad, baked chicken breast, water, and I would work out, and I would eventually get bored with the same food. I would probably just change the dressing to try to switch it up a
Yeah.
little bit, get
Right,
bored,
right,
and then I'm back to doing what I used to do.
right,
So
right, right, right.
I know I'm not the only person that did that, first off.
Hmm.
So, what are the first steps toward taking control of your health and maintaining it?
Okay. Did you get results? Is my question before I even answer. When you did
Yes,
that,
I would get
you
results.
did.
Yes.
Hmm.
And then
Okay.
I would be
You're
happy and then just go right back to what I used
you
to
fall
do.
right
And
back
then,
out. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mm-hmm,
Cool, cool, cool. But that's good you got results. Some people do that, don't. But man, I see slow and steady. Just as fast as you can lose it or gain it, not just even with weight, but like money, you know what they say, as fast as you get it, fast as it could go away. Slow and steady is really the way to go. Doing things that's attainable and enjoyable. Like
mm-hmm,
a big part of not just health in general is being able to enjoy yourself. You can't do something for a certain period of time you ain't getting no enjoyment out of it. So
mm-hmm,
you gotta be able to enjoy your food, and you gotta, like I said, little attainable steps. I oftentimes hear people who say, I watched this documentary on so and so, so and so, and it seemed like it's way too much. It's unrealistic. And when something is that unrealistic, it's just extreme. It's not attainable. It's not even something you can
mm-hmm,
see yourself doing, so you don't even try. I'm like, man, try that little thing first. I'm huge on taking that little step and then making another step, just making sure you constantly progress. And look, I'm gonna be honest. In my journey, I've had seasons that were better than others.
mm-hmm,
I'll be eating real clean, or and doing things the way I want to do it, and then I get a new job, or I get real busy and I kind of fall off.
mm-hmm,
But each time I would come back. You got to make sure when you come back, you usually do better. Like, all right, well, when I go off and drift off this time, I'm gonna do better. And at this point, I almost feel like I could be in any situation, with any workload, and still maintain my health. So, first tip, if you have, and this is not even food related, but it's definitely health related. If you smoke or drink have a serious drinking problem, try to cut it. Try to cut that. I've been doing smoking research, tobacco research all summer. Smoking is terrible for your health. That's a whole conversation within itself. Whether that's hookah, you know what I'm saying? Uh, Black and Miles, just let those go. Those are terrible for your health. Alcohol, moderation, moderation.
mm-hmm,
Good. Mess with some wines, moderation. Um, Flip side of that, if we're talking about liquids, drink water. First
mm-hmm,
and foremost, you want your urine to be pale yellow, and that is an indication that you are hydrated.
mm-hmm,
Um, After that, trying to eat as many greens as you can.
mm-hmm.
Uh, Trying to eat not just salad. So when it comes to salad, people a lot of times they get bored with salad.
Yes.
I'll encourage you. See, my salads used to be bomb. So I would have a salad. I would throw some rice in it. I like cranberries, dried cranberries. I would throw that in there. Lettuce, tomatoes, I would have my fish in there. Sometimes I would have little tortilla wraps, so it ain't just like I'm eating a salad. I'm getting the same amount
Mm-hmm.
of green, but I put it in a little tortilla and I eat it, and it has a different effect on my mind. I switched it up. And another thing is, so when it comes to dressings, a lot of times salad is really, really light. It's a light food. And the dressing, if you look at the calorie count, the sodium, all that type of stuff on there, and you put it over that salad, if you look at the calories and everything like that, most likely if you used a lot of dressing, it's gonna outweigh your salad, and it's
Mm.
gonna kind of be like you ain't really eat that. Is all that nutrition that you had was drowned out. So you want to
Mm-hmm.
watch out for that, but you want to make sure you try to dress up that salad as best as you can. If you like barbecue chicken, bake you some barbecue chicken, take some little bits and throw it in there.
Mm.
I like avocado, but that's a little bit of it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Get creative. Get
Uh-huh.
creative. Just do and try to just make your portion smaller. And because one thing we do in America that other countries don't do is we eat a huge amount of food in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, I love to use France as an example. They on average don't eat as healthy as we think of health in America. Like, counting calories, sugar intake, salt intake, all this type of stuff. They kind of just eat what they want when they feel like they want to do it. As much cheese, bread, and wine as they like.
Mm-hmm.
But the quality up there, they not gonna just eat anything as far as the quality. They have regulations on their bread. Everybody has to make a certain type of bread a certain type of way. They have strict regulations on their things out there. And on average, 70% of their country eats lunch at the same time, and they usually spend about an hour eating lunch when they do eat it. Whereas for us, it's about 14% of our country eats lunch at the same time, and we're doing it in about 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If that.
Or less,
So,
yes.
and exactly. And on average, they live longer than us in France,
Wow.
regardless of what and how we eat. So it's not just what you're eating, it's also how you eating it. You know
And the
what I'm saying?
quality of it. Mm-hmm.
And the quality of it. If there's anything you can take away from that, Lord, quality, quality. But yeah, so you know what I'm saying? And like I said, so when it comes to portions, try to do smaller. Try to start practicing restraint. Start practicing restraints. Stay away from those sugary drinks as
Mm-hmm.
well, because those sugary drinks, super, super sweet food, you gotta start, because if you're used to drinking sugary drinks, what it does is it overstimulates your tongue. It's kind of like going from after drinking a Powerade to uh, water. That's an obvious uh, correlation, but you're gonna know the difference
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, all right, water's gonna taste super bland because you just had something super sweet. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
constantly drinking something super sweet, if you drink a Powerade, then you go buy the apple not gonna really be too sweet, but the apple
Mm-hmm.
is sweet. But because you're drinking something that was man-made that has a crazy amount of sugar in it, it's gonna make you feel like you always gotta have that certain level of like you that's your tolerance you have built up. So start diluting those drinks. If you can't just
Mm-hmm.
switch to a more natural one, start diluting them. Start doing like half water, half that drink. Start eating your fruits. Like if you have any fruit that you like, look, do more of it. Do more of those watermelons, strawberries. If you're doing the smoothies, don't add any added sweetener to it. Whole, whole milk depends on a person. I'm not really a whole milk person. I like my almond milk, but like I said, I had sinus issues, so when it came to milk, it was really, really messing over me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I usually tell people almond milk, but some people, for example, my mom, I I I switched her over when I was making my transition because I didn't just go straight from regular milk to almond milk. I went from regular milk to a better quality milk, to organic milk, um, and I noticed differences there, but I just kept going. She still is fine with that. My dad, he used to do that, and I mean he's 55 now. Maybe around at 50, he started to have real bad. He has asthma, but he started to have real bad sinus and mucus and build up, and he was like, man, he started questioning and thinking it was the milk, and he switched over
Mm-hmm.
to almond milk, and he had instant relief. Like it was a life changing moment for him, and that I was happy for. But let alone my mom is still smooth sailing with
Mm-hmm.
with her milk. It's just the better quality. And look, I ain't mad at it. If it ain't causing you any problems, you know what I'm saying? Do your thing.
I
Um,
the thing that I most took away from with everything today is
mhm,
to read those labels. So everybody
mhm.
make sure y'all read those labels. I am,
Please.
and it may seem crazy that I don't read the labels, but
Mhm.
we have to, because it's going in our body. And you just bringing
Yeah.
awareness to this is really making me think like I never read labels before, which is
Please read
crazy,
these
but
labels.
it's
Yeah,
honest, you know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
a lot of people may be in the same boat as me. So
Uh-huh.
thank you. We got to
Yeah,
read those labels. We have to, have
yeah,
to, have to.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
So,
question them.
oh, go ahead. Question. Wait. So
Question
that's
those
another question
labels.
I had. Who do we ask if we have a question? Like,
Ah, that's a great
who do
question.
we ask?
So I don't want to say just so dependent if you have if you have a really good doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and that's another thing that goes into healthcare, man. Choosing a good physician who treats you in the way and the style that you go about it. So we're in the South, so people take their spirituality and usually their religion real serious. They don't just go to no any church. I would say treat your doctor like that. Interview him. You know what I'm saying? Feel him out. See if he can answer some of your nutritional questions. Some of them can't, but some of them can. There are real good
Mm-hmm.
ones out there. I hope to be that for a lot of people in the future. And uh, so if you have one of those, you can do that. Also online, you just have to know how to do, you know, analyze things online and be critical. You can't just read the first thing. Check multiple sources. So online is a great source a lot of times as well, and a lot of respected educational sources as well is a great thing. Local nutritionists, you can look
Mm-hmm.
those up, ask them, call them up. They might answer your question just off of that. Usually, these people who are in these fields, they're passionate about their work. So if you take an
Mm-hmm.
extra time to ask somebody, you know what I'm saying. Also, you have my contact. You can shoot me a message. Uh, I hope to have my website up soon to where I just have some of this stuff we talking about just posted so that when people are just like, man, I just need to know a lot of these basic things, it's already there. You know what I'm saying? But in the meanwhile, until I have that, you can always shoot me a message, and if I don't know it, I'm gonna go seek it, or I will
Mm-hmm.
tell you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but that's a good question. But that's my advice for right now. To ask those people.
Mm-hmm. Now, my motto is be bold, be beautiful, be you. I
Mm,
live by
yeah,
it. I encourage it to a lot of people.
yeah,
So, what is a motto that you stand on and live by that you can share with the rest of us?
man. Okay, I stand by and there I can live. Ooh, uh, there's always a way. So especially when it comes to like this food thing, a lot of times it could just seem really really depressing, but there's always a way. Work with what you have. You know what I'm saying? Even if at the you seem like you're at the lowest, you're like, man, I'm somewhere where they ain't got no healthy food, they ain't got this, and there's always a way. There is always a way. One thing I said, analogy I like to use is like I'm not a type of person who goes when it comes to making food. I'm not the type who says, man, I want cereal, and I go ahead and grab a bowl and I put cereal in that bowl, and then go ahead and realize I don't have milk. It's like, nah, I look in the fridge. I say I'm hungry, firstly. I say I'm hungry. I go to the root. I say
Mm-hmm.
I'm hungry. I go in the kitchen, see what I have. What do I have with me? And what can I create from that? You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
look and see what you have around. A lot of times we take a quick glance, like you said, you just look at that price tag and you just like, all right, cool, that's what I'm just gonna grab that. Take a deeper look, you know what I'm saying? And know that you are never in a situation that you just cannot get out. That's just one
Mm-hmm.
thing I believe. You can there's always a way. There's always a way.
I
You can do
definitely
better.
agree
There's
with that.
always a way you could do
Yes.
better. So I guess that's mine for right now. There's always a way you could do better.
Always a
Um,
way. So,
mhm.
you said that what is your like social media platforms, or how can people get in contact with you if we do have questions?
Yeah, so my Instagram is b_got_flavor_. I am on Facebook as Brian Washington the second. Um, my email, brianwash.bwash@gmail. That's, and when I say wash is WASH and Brian BRIAN. That's everything I have right now. No website as of now. That may come in the next couple of weeks, depending on how things go. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's how you can get in touch with me.
And I'll post it on my page too.
Go
And
ahead.
everything that you gave was very informative, and you really dropped some jewels on us. And I really, really appreciate you for that. And I'm
Man, I
gonna
appreciate it.
take it and run with it. And I'm going
Yeah.
to take small steps in changing my lifestyle, not just
Yeah.
getting on a crash diet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just want to
Yeah.
thank you for that. Is
And
there anything else you wanted to say?
man, link to people who are moving in the same direction. That all of that is so crucial. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to do it by yourself. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
just point blank period. It's hard to do by yourself. Even if you're on Instagram, you might spend a certain amount of time looking at it. Go follow some help pages to
Mm-hmm.
constantly get that reassurance. Also spend at least 3 minutes a day in just quietness. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's more than just food. You can
Mm-hmm.
eat the healthiest things, but be miserable. Make sure your emotional health is taken care of as well. In that 3 time, you could just sit in silence, or you could think on what you want to do, how you want to do things better, and if you're doing that better. But yeah, man, connect to some people who are like minded so that y'all can keep each other accountable. You know what I'm saying? Follow the page. I'll always be posting something uh, to try to hold y'all accountable as well, and be like, man, I need to do a little better. I could drink my water or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I want y'all to, I want you to prosper with your goals, but what I don't want is for you to fall short because of your health. I do not want
Yes.
that. I want you to, that is my main goal. I'm just like, man, look, just don't forget about your health. Health isn't the most important thing in life, but it is essential to your purpose, to you fulfilling your purpose in life.
Definitely.
So, you
Definitely.
know
And
what
we
I'm
tend to put
saying?
that on the back burner.
Yep, especially people of color. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? We fall on the back end of that. So we need to take that serious.
Yes.
So that's my last little words.
Definitely
Those are my
agree.
last words.
So I
Hmm.
just want to thank you
Yeah.
so much. And I will post your information on my page. I will be looking for your website soon. And I'm
Yeah.
just so excited for you on your many accomplishments. And you are just always have been and always will be very intelligent. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
You are
Y'all
too.
remember to, oh, thank you. Y'all go follow
You
me on
are too.
Instagram at radiant love underscore. Shop on my web, on my boutique at radiant-love.com. And y'all just be bold, be beautiful, be you. Y'all have a good night. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No problem. Thank you.
Bye bye.